getting the last sips in. Video podcast. That's pretty gross. We're both too ugly, everyone decided. But here we are, episode 17? 16?
Yeah, that sounds right.
17 of the Valley Boys. I'm your host, Dave Weasel. Let's get this shit over with. Join with me is my co-host, Brandon Collins. He's neither sidekick nor assistant because we are locked down, quarantined in our own homes. How you holding up, Brandon?
Well, we've had plenty of alcohol, so I'm doing all right. I haven't had much worry about anything. How about over there?
I'm good. I like the fuck, dude. What do you like? Where do you live exactly? It looks like all of my white trash nightmares are coming true.
Oh no, this is a sex dungeon.
Is that are you a member of the Tiger King clan and this is one of the trailers they gave you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I got all my man brides locked up for the night though. They need their rest for tomorrow.
You're locked up in the garage because you don't want to keep anyone. You want to wake up anybody, right?
Yeah, I'm not a complete piece of shit.
But you were keeping them up yesterday. What'd you do yesterday, Brandon?
Yesterday I had my first acid trip, which was pretty awesome. Like, it wasn't as gnarly as you think it would be. Like I wasn't seeing melting walls or fucking unicorns like coming out of the ceiling or anything like that.
So what happened?
Yeah, so you have to like put it on the roof of your mouth and let it sit there for about an hour, get into your bloodstream and all that. And like slowly after about like 15 minutes, half an hour, everything started slowing down. Like it was like slow motion movie type shit. And then once I hit an hour, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I must have fucked something up because now like everything feels like normal again. And so I'm sitting there a little longer and then I hit about the 2-hour mark. And then like all of a sudden, everything just kind of like changes. Like I'd say colors get a little bit brighter. Like music sounds a lot more crisper. And I just didn't give a shit about anything. Like everything was fine in the world. It was fucking amazing.
But everything slowed down, like you said, because it felt like time slowed down when you were telling that story. That has to be the most boring acid story I've ever heard.
Yeah. I was hoping for something better too. Like once I got about to that 2-hour mark, I had to keep myself from trying to drool. I kept trying to drool on myself, so that was pretty awesome.
And you forgot how to sit down.
Yeah. I apparently have to be closer than like 3 feet away from a chair because I kept like reaching for it. It wasn't there, and then I had to like slowly back up, make sure I didn't fall over, and then finally sat down. But yeah, I was a little disappointed myself. I thought I was going to be like tripping balls in a alternate universe somewhere, but none of that happened. So next time, I'm going to have to pop 2 tabs to see if I can get a little closer to God.
Popping 2 tabs. Man, that's some junkie talk right there. What does that mean? You do acid in tabs?
Yeah, so it's just a little square tab. And then, like I said, you stick it to the roof of your mouth, and then, it just works its way in your bloodstream that way. Gets you high that way.
I could definitely see you needing 2 tabs.
I come from a long line of alcoholics and junkies. So if it could be popped, snorted, injected, smoked, whatever, drank, it's been done on my side of the family before.
You'll figure out a way, no doubt. But I'm
Thank you, Dave.
I'm like, I have faith in you, Brandon.
I'm glad
you'll do all the drugs properly.
That's right.
I'm not clipping on your end. It sounds a little clippity dip, clippity clip. I think it's good now.
Yeah. You sound fine on my end.
There's something wrong with yours though. Hang on. It's the video. It's got your face in it.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Fucking real original, Dave.
I like the lighting though. It's virtually non-existent. It spares people from having to catch the coronavirus through their eyes.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you have the same mercy on them and blocking your face? We can see you perfectly. That's fucking horrible.
I know.
Why would you do that, Dave?
Blob of gross. Like I'm sitting here drinking. It looks like Gatorade, but it used to be Gatorade. Now it's this serum that you squirt into water. And you add a bunch of alcohol to it. And tonight's barrel is rum. I got that 60-ounce barrel of rum that you picked up for me.
Yeah, well,
came out of my pajamas.
You spent all that time calling me a fucking junkie, and here you are just fucking like mixing whatever with your goddamn alcohol so you can chug it faster.
Right?
I can't get drunk as much as I'd like
Where's
to.
Uncle Dave's Hot Pockets? Brandon. Oh, you know what? I take back that intro. You are my assistant. If you're going and running my errands, doing my deeds, that makes you the assistant. Even at the end of the world, you're still the assistant.
I'm gonna stick my dick in those Hot Pockets next time, Dave.
Yeah, well, they're frozen already, so you're just gonna poke little holes in them. With it, what are you drinking?
That is Bud Light. I'm being responsible after yesterday.
Just drinking that light Brandon beer. Yeah, but how many did you have? It's not light beer if you drink 15 of them.
Well, no, today I only had one. Yesterday I had like 15 of them, but that balances out to 7.5, which is a responsible number.
That probably cuts into the acid though. And light, by the way, light beer, your math is off. Common Core American. The light beer is only like 1% lower than regular beer.
Yeah, well, Bud Light's like 4.3, and normal beer is like 5%.
Right.
So it wasn't that bad. But no, I didn't start drinking until I was coming down off the acid. Yeah, by the time I started drinking, like I was seeing shit normal again.
Good. So, are you getting a little frisky?
Dude, yeah.
They're crazy.
Dude,
are you missing your lot lizards?
Yeah.
Have you had any offers, like discounts? They'll send you a message. They're like, hey, Brandon, how about like a 6 foot away visit where you just do your gross Brandon thing and we'll give you a little show.
Yeah, it's
definitely been
it's definitely it's been a lot easier to negotiate rates and all that, but I haven't even gone out.
Yeah, just I go to 7-Eleven once a week.
Yeah, I can't. Well, that and I can't really justify going to a hooker with God knows how many other dudes who have come through there, and they all got the fucking rona pussy now.
Ugh. Is that what they're calling it on the streets?
Well, that's what I'm calling it.
You heard it here first. So, prostitution isn't considered essential business, but a reoccurring theme on this stupid podcast is your dumb wrestling.
Yeah, well, yes,
and how wrestling. And why did that become deemed essential business?
Well, because Florida is involved with this particular story, the same Florida that just opened up their beaches this week. So,
Jacksonville. Shout out to Jacksonville. You ever been there?
I've driven through there a couple times, but I didn't stop, thankfully.
That's where all the Florida man, like every single person there is Florida man. Even the women, they're Florida man.
It's where it originates. Well,
yeah, exactly.
I believe it. Well, this story actually has a little bit of a political twist to it, if you can believe it. So Vince McMahon, owner of WWE, is buddy with Trump, has been for a long time now. And after the initial order came down that all non-essential businesses have to close, no gatherings of 10 people or more in Florida, Trump got a hold of the governor, Rick DeSantis, who's a Republican. And ultimately what happened is that there was a super PAC for Trump offering to spend like $18 million in the state for this upcoming election season. Huh?
24.5 million.
18 was the last number I heard, but at any rate, a shitload of money in the upcoming election. And then right around that time, hey, you fucker. So yeah, and coincidentally, right around that time, they happened to allow entertainment and sports to open back up as long as there's no spectators involved. What a coincidence.
The performers, the cameramen, everybody involved, are they supposed to stay 6 feet away from each other? That would be more believable, by the way. Social distance wrestling.
Yeah.
They're just like doing their moves and they're flipping down, flopping all over the place. I believe that. That's just as believable as wrestling right now.
There were a couple smaller promotions that did that before everything got shut down. Yeah, dudes just like half body slamming guys from halfway across the ring and shit like that. But yeah, so they're supposed to be 6 feet away, but none of them are. Like everybody's there, like the barbers, the makeup people. You can't stand away 6 feet away for that shit, And then obviously once you get in the ring, tag team matches, you got 4, 6+ people in the ring at one time. So Yeah, none of that shit's it's all money related, just like anything else.
It's like they thought, how can we make wrestling even stupider?
Yeah,
So they did it right in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, in Florida of all places, it really doesn't help. It really doesn't help out wrestling's image at all. But
right.
Like that's the new normal until somebody fucking catches it.
Well, and that's the problem is everybody has a strong opinion one way or the other, but you have people protesting is taking to the streets to say, open up the businesses. This is communism. Like they fucking have any idea what that word means. And everybody, every healthcare professional, both in the public and private sector, is saying, stay the fuck home. This is the only way we're going to get rid of it, is everyone stays at home. And the more you go out there, the more it's going to spread and the more people that are going to die. So Trump's looking at it from, he keeps flipping back and forth to try and cover his ass. So first of all, he's looking at the economy. That's all he's got left. Trump doesn't have jack dick in his pocket. He promised the wall. He promised all this crazy shit would happen. The only thing he did was he gave a tax return, and the economy is doing well. Yeah, but this, it's done. The economy is going to be the worst it's been in a long time. It might even go past a recession into a depression. Who knows? But that's one of his last cards. So naturally, he wants to save the economy. I thought that would motivate him to help find a cure or a treatment or something. Instead, he's just telling everyone, fuck it, just go back out there. And he told everybody that he has absolute power to tell every governor that they have to open up the state again. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolute power, he said.
Yeah.
Absolute power, he said. And
you okay there, Dave? You're
yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I'm good. See, I don't have fucking girl arms like everyone says. There's nothing wrong with my arms, right?
Well, other than you're letting everybody know right now that you're going to vote for Trump in November. Do that number again.
Oh, damn. I walked right into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all he's got is the economy. That's what everybody's hanging on to. It's like, hey, man, my 401k. But he's telling everybody that governors have to listen to him, absolute power. The next day, he took a 180. Someone said to him, you can't say that. That not only is that not true, but you sound like a psycho. Your base is all about small government. They don't want to hear words like absolute power coming from any president. So he said he's leaving it up to the governors. He feels they're all competent, they're all capable, and everything's going to be fine. Leaving it up to the governors to open it up when it's safe to do so. And then the day after that, he starts tweeting out, liberate Michigan, liberate Minnesota, liberate Virginia. And it's like, wait a minute. I thought you were just saying...
You have to stand up for your Second Amendment rights. He's
just like, he had to take them away.
Yeah, he had to throw that in there. Well, in fairness, like if you look at the people, no matter where it is in the country that are showing up, it's jacked up pickup trucks, American flags hanging off the back. They have people with the "Don't tread on me" hats.
He knows his base, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, shit. Colorado today, they had like 200 people at the Capitol. Down in Huntington Beach, they had I don't know how many people, but same thing. Yeah, the American flags and the what was that dumb woman? She had that sign. The lockdown equals communism.
Equals communism. Right. And because, that's what Mark said. He's like, everybody has to stay 6 feet apart. Rule number 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna think it's real funny. Yeah, when all their friends and neighbors start getting sick and dying, like it's all. That's the problem. That's what I was telling a friend. Is it either we can stick with the lockdown, try to get everybody on that until we can start getting treatments and a vaccine out, or we can just reopen everything up and send everybody out there, and it's going to get a whole lot worse real fucking quick.
Right. And when you look at New York City, New York State, how everybody's catching that Rona. And people are dying from it. And in a way, I get I see both sides to the what about the flu argument. Because the flu kills, 30 to 70,000 people every single year. And no one really cares. They're like, well, that's circle of life. But with this one, it has a significantly higher mortality rate. And what if What if everybody did catch it?
Oh, dude, man. Like
If they open everything up again, it very well could happen. You get these idiots at the going to the beach. Did you see the man? I forget what it's called. I don't know what technology it is, but the premise is they were able to track cell phones from Daytona Beach on spring break, and they zoom in to just one part of the beach, and you see all these little red dots where there's cell phones, and they're like, okay, here's where they were a week later, and it's all across the country, like just red dots everywhere.
Oh yeah, I fucking believe it. Yeah,
and those people are infecting everyone, and everyone's. It's just like, we're past even the point of where, the irony is still appreciated, because it's not anymore. You'll always hear these. There's pastors, there's people that explicitly disobeyed the social distancing rule, and then they die of coronavirus. You know, the first 20 times it happened, it was like, poetic justice. Now it's like, well, what the hell do you think is going to happen? Just keep your dick away.
Yeah, wasn't there pastor like encouraging people to like send him money to
the stimulus? Yeah, he wanted his stimulus checks. I think that was also in Florida. He said, everyone's donate your stimulus checks. That's money you didn't earn. Give it back to God. Fucking idiot, man. But you know what? That's what they all do that. Kenneth Copeland was saying that shit too. He's like, just because you're not working, just because you got no money, doesn't mean you can stop donating money to me.
Yeah,
Rona right out of you.
Mr. $750 million Kenneth Copeland.
Right, yeah. The richest pastor in America. $0 in taxes that he has to pay on that because it's done in the name of Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Was that the guy who healed everyone by blowing on them through the TV?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay,
that's that same dude, man. He said the funniest thing ever, like about 8 months ago or whatever. He's talking about why he needs to fly privately instead of on a commercial plane. He's like, there's so much sin on those airplanes. There are people drinking. There are people committing sins. I cannot be in there. I am a man of God. That is a tube full of demons. A tube full of demons. You remember that?
Yeah. That
was the best thing. He's right. Have you ever been on Spirit Airlines? Man, you get on one of those. If you fart, they're like, hey, that's extra baggage. You got to pay. Because initially you get on the plane. Dude, I flew to New York, from LA to New York City and back, $250. I stopped in Denver. I stopped in Minneapolis. But it was $250. And what a piece of shit airplane it was. Like, you feel like you're going to die. And you have this much room. But it's $250. But if you want to take, number one, if you're a traveler, do not take any carry-on luggage unless you absolutely have to. Just stuff it in a backpack and bring it with you. You don't need all that shit wherever you're going. But if you were to take extra luggage, if you took 2 extra suitcases, it can cost you like $100 on Spirit. So that's how they get their money back.
I fucking believe it. Yeah.
That bullshit. So they give you the base flight, and the rest is extra. So when I fly, especially multiple hours like that, I drink. By the way, alcoholics, get an aisle seat on an airplane. That way you can just go to the bathroom when you feel like it. You don't want to be stuck between people, always doing that ass to face, crotch to face maneuver out of there, fucking stumbling out like a drunk idiot, spending $8 on a can of beer. But anyways, Spirit Airlines, tube full of demons. That should be on every plane. It's like a disclaimer. You have to sign it. I'm aware of the tube full of demons, and I'm okay with it.
God,
I am one of the demons, so.
Well, there you go. And Kenneth Copeland doesn't want to be around those people. Didn't Jesus actually go out and put himself among the sinners and the sick and all that? I think I vaguely remember. Okay. God, I'm sorry.
Jesus, the message of Jesus, from what I understand, I don't, but like, I support the message, not the whole supernatural aspect of that. But Jesus was about love thy neighbor, don't be a dick, that kind of thing. And he was saying the opposite of what these people that are pulling out these crazy laws based on their belief in him, and they're directly contradicting it. So to me, that's hypocritical. And from what I know about Jesus, that's what he didn't like, right? Was hypocrites.
Yeah.
He was in there. People are trying to tax them in the church, and he was not all he wasn't down with that. But whatever, you believe what you believe, but don't pretend like you're doing it for righteous reasons, or in the name of Jesus when his message is the polar opposite.
I like the fact that he hung out with hookers, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, wasn't his BFF one?
Yep.
Who was that? What was her name?
Mary Magdalene.
And that's the one they were trying to stone, and he was like, "Let he without sin." Was it her?
Yep, that's the one. Oh man,
Nice awkward pause. So when I'm drinking this shit, my lips are getting fucking orange, and it looks like I'm wearing lipstick. Yep, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, you do kind of have a Buffalo Bill like motif going on.
That's what I was thinking, man. It's like, am I gonna do the whole fruit bowl thing and so start flashing ween on the camera?
Yeah, do it.
Maybe.
Wait,
maybe if I have any more to drink, I might. I'm not as drunk as last time, but yeah. Well, last time we had, that was a fun.
Close out the fucking show with that.
Just a Buffalo Bill fruit bowl. Yeah, I'm down with that. But hopefully, no, there's no editing involved. I'm just gonna be Red Lip Dave from now on. Fucking lipstick Dave.
Yeah, Dave with his chapped lips.
Of course. So, kind of along that whole "don't tread on me" bullshit. Today, not by the time this comes out, it'll be a different day. But at the time of this recording, April 19th, it's the Oklahoma City anniversary of,
Tim
that
McVeigh.
bombing. Yeah, 25 years or something like that. And that was the ultimate "don't tread on me" fuck.
Yeah, you know he lived that shit.
Well, and he took that ideology to the extreme, and that's what I'm getting a little worried, because you're seeing that shit at least on the internet and with these videos of people being very adamant about their rights, which is totally fine. You should fight for your rights, but you don't need to be a fucking lunatic about it. Like these people that are protesting the coronavirus, they're there decked out in full SWAT gear or tactical gear, and they've got their, I don't want to call it the wrong thing so everybody dogpiles on me, but they have their assault rifles. They have guns capable of killing 60 people at once. Whatever the fuck title you want to call it. They have those kind of guns strapped to them. And those are the kind of people I'm a little worried about. Okay? Because the whole thing with Timothy McVeigh is he was retaliating against the government. I mean, there's multiple reasons, I'm sure, but one factor in that was he was a major sympathizer with Ruby Ridge. He was actually watching that from a little spot that a little clearing that they had where the public was able to access, and he was there watching it for hours every day. And when Ruby Ridge went down the way it did, he was fucking pissed off. And that was his whole thing, was retaliating against the government. Government can't tell people what to do. Government's getting in your hands. And that, I'm not saying Ruby Ridge went down like that was okay or anything, but
I don't think anyone thinks that.
Right. And I don't think what they were doing was okay either, but ultimately that whole thing was a big mess, and he decided to kill innocent people as a result of it. And I'm worried that something like that is, I don't want to say it out loud because that's just a bad omen, but it worries me seeing these types of people out there, and we're just so desensitized to these dudes with big guns and them telling us, shouting out how they have a right to do that, and everyone's afraid of them, and all it takes is for one lunatic to do something again, and that's all Timothy McVeigh was. He was one lunatic, and he was very young. He was in his mid-20s.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't like this old dude, professor, mad crazy dude. He was like some 25-year-old that read some books and figured out how to blow up a huge building. That's fucking scary.
Well, yeah, everything was already divisive. It's been divisive for quite a while in this country now. Like before Trump, I would say it probably started to get real bad, like probably 2010-ish, maybe somewhere around there. But now that we're dealing with the coronavirus, everything becomes politicized, including that medicine, treatment, everything. Everyone's being put on one side or the other. All it's doing is just adding fuel to the fire for people that feel like their rights are being trampled on, and the people who are like just one solid push away from going over the edge. This isn't the best environment for them.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And
So yeah. So unfortunately, it's yeah. Like I don't wish it happens again, but it probably is sooner than later. If things continue to get worse, people can't get work, unemployment goes up. It's just gonna make things worse.
well, dude, like it's already like the unthinkable. Like just today, um, in Nova Scotia, I got family there. My mom is from there. My dad is an RCMP officer who was stationed there in Nova Scotia for many years. Not that detachment, but this dude. There's not a lot of details out right now. So by the time that this goes up, they'll know more. But right now, as it stands, they know that this man was posing as a cop, and he went on a huge killing spree, and he killed 17 people. Is the current figure, and he did so posing as an RCMP officer. So like I guess he had the uniform. They showed a car that he had. It looked a little off. It didn't look like the typical police car they have, but it had all of the markings on it, and it had a specific number that wasn't a cop car ever. So I think he just made a car look like that.
Yeah. So like if you didn't take a second look, you wouldn't think anything of it as he's
Exactly.
driving
Yeah.
by.
And you do see variations of police cars. They're not, it's not the end of the world to see a regular look. You wouldn't think, okay, this guy's going to kill me if you saw, a different car. But that bothers me, man. That's my home country. And in America, we're so desensitized to it. Like something like whatever it is, 19 out of the last 25 most deadly shootings in America happened in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I could see that being accurate.
And I'm not trying to say, oh, well, here, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that that's not something we do there. And I'm already seeing the whole, like, see, gun control doesn't work because they don't care about laws, which is a fucking stupid argument to make. Saying they'll say, oh, this is a gun-free zone. And people ignore that. They went and killed everybody. They went and killed some people in a gun-free zone. And that's why the law doesn't work. And it's like saying, okay, everywhere in America, within the borders of the United States, everywhere is a murder-free zone. You can't kill anybody. It's all one big murder-free zone. So saying, but sometimes there are murders. We should just eliminate the law altogether. What's the point? That's what I hear about when people talk about gun-free zones. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, like in campuses, medical facilities, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're necessarily saying that get rid of the laws necessarily, but they're definitely misguided. We definitely need some manner of gun. I mean, we already have gun control. There's already laws on the books.
I agree, and they're not really enforced, and there's a lot of loopholes, and there's a lot of shady people out there. We talked about it with one of those guys, Jimmy Dore, or Joe Walsh, I think. We were discussing it with them, how I was offered a gun in Austin, one of those liberal cities for Texas, at least, or pretty much anywhere. Austin's great, but I was in a pawn shop. I do that wherever I go. I go and see what guitar pedals they got, find some weird shit in there. And I was just glancing at the guns they had. I wasn't like looking at them, but I was peeking. And the guy's like, "Oh, you like what you see?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "No." And then he's like, "Well, you know what? We got this one and that one and the other thing." And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm Canadian. I can't even buy a gun." And then the dude's like, "Okay." And this is very rare. Okay, this doesn't happen all the time, but fucking lightning strike happened to me. I don't know what it is. There's nothing about me that suggests I could be trustworthy with a gun, but this guy said, "All right, well, why don't you come back a little later tonight, and you pay double, and I'll get you that gun." I was like,
maybe you just thought you were sickly and frail and needed protection.
I almost think he was like baiting me to do it, and I'd get busted. Like, those kids that are hired by the cops to walk into the 7-Eleven and ask for a pack of cigarettes or try and buy alcohol. just to see if they do it, and then they come in, they're like, "You're busted for selling." Maybe that's what he was, but it was just way too easy for me. That's anecdotal. I realize that doesn't happen probably ever to anyone else, but it happened to me.
Yeah. Dave's lucky day at the pawn shop. You should have seen what else you could have got from him. Like,
it's like, yeah, I'm not into that, but I'm really into World War II memorabilia, and also Desert Storm memorabilia and Afghanistan, but only if it works.
Yeah.
Got anything in that? And he's like, "Oh, I know a guy. He's over in Dallas, but
yeah, the more swastikas it has on it, the better."
Oh my God. You ever see Nazi memorabilia up close?
I have some. Like, my grandpa got me some coins from when he served over in the war. He brought some like French francs back and all that had the swastika on it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. Yeah, like
I saw a couple flags and shit, but nothing like that. Nothing like, man. Have you ever spoken to a genuine Nazi sympathizer? And I don't mean these young idiots that are shaving their heads and all that and trying to be tough and whatever the fuck, misguided little shits, but I mean like an old fuck covered in Nazi tattoos. Or at least this is the one guy I knew. I used to work at a truck stop in my youth when I was in school one summer. I was working there as a waiter. And this trucker would come in covered in tattoos like that. We had this East Indian host who sat him down, and then I go over and he's being all weird, and I've seen him 1,000 times, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "That fucking guy that sat me down, he's one of them," and he just lists off every slur he knows about. And I was like, come on. And he's like, "Hey, all I'm saying is if you ain't white, you ain't right." Like, fuck, man. Like, I can't even be mad at you because you're so stupid. Like,
yeah, it's like a comic book character come to life.
Right, yeah. And then so I go in the back and I'm bitching about this guy, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking serve it. Someone else do it. And the one girl's like, "Yeah, I will. That guy tips really well." I'm like, fucking selling your soul right now. But yeah, I didn't want to. That creeps me out when you see it in real life.
Yeah. Well, you see it from people who genuinely believe it, like they're not making off-color jokes or something. Like, this is something ingrained in their beliefs. Yeah.
I mean, off-color jokes. Every single person has laughed at an off-color joke. I mean, like, privately laughed. Not
yeah.
Someone said something and they thought, okay, I pieced together why that's clever, and but to fucking see it in real life and see it applied to another person, that's just so fucked up to me. But whatever. What do I know? I don't know shit about the world. And in Canada, you don't see it that often. You don't see too many Nazi sympathizers. He could have been American because it's a truck stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw you dirty Canucks on the road all the time with your maple syrup powered diesel engines.
Yeah, that's what we do. Instead of cars, we have mooses, and instead of gas, we just feed them maple syrup.
Keep shoveling it on in.
You know what? All this dumb shit I come up about Canada, people believe it, and they get mad at me because I'm making it up. And they're like, but they come back to me a couple months later, like something as stupid as that. "Oh yeah, we ride moose and we don't gas them. We feed them maple syrup." I'm like, oh, well. And then 3 months later, like, "Hey, so it turns out," I'm like, well, no shit. But tell me the story of how you found out. See, it involves that being all like hipster and woke and shit, and being like, "So in Canada," and someone's like, "Are you a fucking idiot?"
Yeah, and that's why I think that's why we have people out there protesting on Capitol to try to get the country reopened, because people can't be bothered to do 5 minutes of actual research to find out if something that they heard from their angry racist uncle about 5G causing the virus is true or not.
Man, there's a lot of people saying that. And they're like, "Well, have you seen flowers grow beside a 5G tower? It just doesn't happen." You're like, all right, but that's not the fucking coronavirus. And then you get other people wondering why it's racist to call it the China virus. And I'll tell you why. Because it was never called that by anybody in the healthcare world. It was always called COVID-19 and then coronavirus. That's what we call it. And Trump started calling it the China virus to vilify China. So that's why it's racist, is the reason why he's calling it that. If it was referenced that casually beforehand and the scientists were calling it that, no, it's not racist. That's what they called it. But they didn't. They explicitly called it something else. There's two different names to choose from. And he's calling it the China virus because he wants to make China look like a bunch of dicks. That's why it's racist.
China.
Fuck, man. You voted for that fucking clown.
Yep.
That's on you. That's on you. Look at you. You look like someone who would vote for Trump. I look like someone that was pieced together in a lab.
Yeah, the same lab where they where they made coronavirus.
Yeah.
You're the fucking type of person that Trump promised to kick out. So since you're still here, I'm not happy.
No. He said nothing about I got an O visa. You can't kick me out. You'd have to kick out all the hockey players too.
All right.
Give those hockey jobs back to Americans. You know what's funny? There's more Americans in the NHL per capita than ever, and it's going up every single year. And last year, or maybe it was the year before now, but it was the first year where Canadians didn't make up the majority of the NHL.
Yeah, no shit.
How fucking crazy is that? They were like 49%, but the rest of them are made up of Americans. That's a fast-growing one, and Europeans, which includes like, you know, the Czechs and Russians and whatever. There was even a British guy drafted in the last couple of years. But Americans are hitting that NHL, and you know why? Because it expanded in the 90s to all these different markets, and people born then and grew up with hockey in their area in Nashville and Arizona, whatever. They have hockey. They grew up with it. That's what they did, and they're good at it. Like Austin Matthews, man, he was the first overall pick a couple years ago. Toronto Maple Leafs scored four goals his first NHL game, the most anybody's ever done.
Yeah, I remember that.
Kind of a letdown ever since, but he's from Arizona. Not exactly a hockey fucking state, you know?
Yeah, hell, not even a hockey. Phoenix isn't a hockey town, but so where are all the Canadians going then? Is just better talent in America pushing them out, or?
Yeah, because that's what it is. There's only a certain amount of spots, but you got to keep in mind that with NHL expansions, there are more teams and therefore more players to go around. But yeah,
fair enough.
Ultimately, the percentage of Canadians are going down because the percentage of Americans are going up. And that's why, I think. It's spread to different markets, and kids grew up with it. There's people from Florida in the NHL, Southern California, like born and raised here, not one of those people that was born here and moved to Canada when they were like a baby. You'll hear that sometimes. Or their dad was an NHL player who played for an American team, and so technically they're American. Or you could be like Jeremy Roenick, who got U.S. citizenship because he lived in the States playing for an American team. And when he didn't make Team Canada at the Olympics, he played for Team USA because he's technically a U.S. citizen now.
Hey, man, it's nice to have options.
All right, so I'm just looking at your shitty garage and your new roommates. Are they cool, or are they like your last? You want to talk about your last ones by chance?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You ready to divulge in that?
Oh God, yeah. It took me a goddamn year and a fucking day, it seems like, to get that whole situation squared away. But yeah, the reason I moved out in the first place was because there was one roommate in particular who was treating the place like a fucking hostel, like always having people staying over for like a month. And in this last case, had second person over there for multiple months at a time. Just supposed to be staying long enough to get an apartment, but then the fucker just kind of like set up shop here. And when I talked to him, I'm like, well, I thought you were just staying here long enough to get an apartment. He's like, oh, well, yeah, I was. But then, I just, everything was cool here. So I just stopped looking. But you're not going to fucking tell anybody anything. You're just kind of, cool, man. I live here now. And so I had I sat down and talked with the other roommate about it. She's like, oh, well, he's getting mail here now, so he fucking lives here. Did you read your fucking contract?
He's getting mail here. Like this guy who's squatting, the owner of the house doesn't even know he's living here, but he got mail here,
Right.
so therefore he's are you fucking stupid? But the important thing is that guy was a dick. He was an insufferable fucking douche. He was from New York, and I met him once, and he just wouldn't shut the fuck up about all these famous people he knew. And he was like, "Hey man, let me help with the podcast." I'm like, we're just doing a little thing." And he's like, "Let me help. I could get you all these." And he said, "ASAP Rocky." He's like, "I can get you." And I was like, "Okay, do that. Do that. If that means you'll stop talking to me," because he kept asking, "What can I do? What can I do?" And I was like, "Do that." But it's like, if you're really doing that well, why the fuck are you crashing on your friend's couch or in her bed? I don't mean to out who it is, but fuck that guy. I saw him, I don't think I told you, but I saw him walking around the neighborhood because he used to live 11 doors away. So that guy still lives 11 doors away from me.
Sure.
But he was out just walking around the neighborhood barefaced, looking like a fucking dick.
Well, dude, he used to fucking pound a goddamn bottle of booze a day almost, if not more. Like,
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, that's right. Hey man, you're paying to live where you live though. Like you didn't decide to just like fucking walk in the house where you're at and like, I guess I live here now since I walked in the door. It's my new place. I'll be back. I'm gonna get some booze. So, yeah, there was that. Well, the first guy that she had like over a year ago, he ended up ODing in the house, and he still ended up there for a couple more months. And after,
so he didn't die. He
overdosed.
You got to clarify when you say that. OD.
Well, I said he OD'd and then he lived there for another 2 months. But
yeah, there was a pause though. During that pause, I was like, "Did he die?" I remember this, but yeah, okay, continue. So he lived there. He was squatting forever.
Yeah, and he ended up there like 5 months total, and then finally he got into an argument and broke up with the chick, which that's where most of the men that she met, that's how that happened. They would get into fights, and then they wouldn't want to come and see her again. So after he left, I'm like, "Fuck, dude, no more. We're not doing this. This isn't a fucking hostel. It's not a goddamn gateway house or anything like that." And she's like, "All right, yeah, it's fine. We won't do it anymore." And then she would always do it. Like she would agree to do shit and then just would change her fucking mind and not tell you about it. That's what pissed me off the most. And so towards the end of this whole thing, I'm like, you know what? After I got into it with her about the current guy that's there, I'm like, I'm just going to find a new place. Like, I'm just not going to deal with this shit anymore. And then so after I find a new place, she gives me shit because I didn't fucking tell her I was moving out. She had this sense of entitlement that I was supposed to like let her know that I was moving. It's like, well, you've talked shit about me. You've shown complete disregard for the fact that I fucking live here, and I'm somehow supposed to like give a shit what you think about whether I stay here or not. And then proceeds to go on a 2-minute rant about how I'm a piece of shit and a fucking loser. And
well, you are. 2 minutes, man. I got so when I do stand up, when I have to fill an hour, I have at least 20 minutes about what a piece of shit you are.
Yeah, well, I could believe it. And if it were funnier, you would be back up doing it again. But yeah, man. And so like, and then fucking dipshit was there, and he like, after she fucking just gets done digging into me, fucking dipshit standing there. He's like, "Yeah, man, you should have fucking said something to her." And I'm like, "You still don't fucking live here, you asshole. Why are you talking? You have no right to say a goddamn thing.
You're a squatter. Squatter, bitch." That's what you should.
Yeah, man. And I did. And that's ultimately why I was where I found the place that I live now, because like after that night, because we had to drag out for, drag out for like half an hour and shit. And then by the time it was finally over, I was fucking around on Facebook and I saw the ad for this place. So everything just kind of like worked itself out.
All right. Now we got that out of the way.
Yes.
I'm not Dr. Oz. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm just one man. I can only handle these stories. Like maybe 1 minute at a time.
Okay.
Maybe the audience has a higher attention span than me, but I certainly don't. I have no idea how long we've been running. Do you see that on your end?
I don't see shit, man.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you how long you're running. Fucking awesome. Zoom, fix that shit. Or I don't want to say any company. I actually turned my shirt around because it said a company on it. So
Yeah, just beep it out with like one of those black bars across your mouth. Then,
dude, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not editing. I'm not doing any EQ. I'm putting this on YouTube and the audio file on the rest of the shit, and that's it. Fuck off. So whatever happens, happens.
yeah, fair enough, man.
So when I Buffalo Bill this at the end,
Oh God,
it's there for life. All right, let's just take a gamble. I'm getting a little drunk, and I have to go to the bathroom. As always, right? I always have to piss around this time. Also, when you were telling your story, I farted, and I regret that now. But I might actually listen to this episode after. I never, ever do. But I might just to see if that fart picked up, because that would be awesome. Because I farted twice. And not the last one, but one of those ones I farted with Blackburn. I ripped a couple of them. Because you know how I left and I came back and you guys were still going at it, and I just fucking ripped a fart and you guys had no idea. And then I was like, Brandon, did you just fart? And you were like, what?
Yeah.
So when you listen to it, you guys are talking and then you hear a fart and then you hear me say, oh, Brad, did you fart? You're like, what? What do you? No? All right.
Well, I didn't hear any. Yeah, I didn't hear any farts this time, but yeah,
I'm getting a little
see
drunk.
If it picks up.
I'm not taking that shit straight.
Yeah, you mentioned that once.
I took one sip of that straight while you were talking, and I can't fucking do that. I can't drink that rum straight. I gotta mix my serum in it. This is what I got. Beep out the logo.
Oh fuck! Maybe next time I go to the store, I'll get a nipple for you.
Yeah. All right, Florida man versus California man versus whatever the fuck. What do you got?
All right, let's start. Let's start with our first story here. Man given $888 fine for Chinups and Park. Did that happen in Canada, California, or Florida?
$888. Wow, that's very specific. That didn't happen in Kentucky?
No. Yeah, so you're just not even hiding it anymore.
I mean, you can see me. You can see me. I look really small on the screen. It's not showing up when I cheat, so I actually have to play the game.
Oh yeah,
it's Canada, California, Florida this time, right?
Yeah,
Florida.
No, this was in Canada. This is in Toronto where they're strict about that shit.
Wow.
But yeah, this guy like in the park by himself, like nobody around him.
I support that. I actually support that fine because if you're doing public chin-ups, you're a fucking douchebag. That's an $888 douchebag fee. And I like how they pick that because that's like something they get tattooed on them, 888 or I don't know, but something that douchebags would like. So yeah, I support that fine. Fucking do it again. Give them 666 next time.
On that principle alone, yes, I agree with you on that.
It was funny. Right. I have a chin-up bar in my house, and it's like sometimes I'll like swing on it like a monkey when I'm drunk, but I don't use it for what it's intended for. I just hang clothes on it,
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you would have to actually have enough muscle to be able to pull yourself up, anyways, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, look at that. That's
look at you saying hi to Trump again.
No, I'm doing the sideways. I'm doing the sideways salute. Yeah, what a weird body I have, dude. It's not genetics. It's my laziness. I just sit around and don't do chin-ups,
Oh, fair enough.
All right, what's the next story?
All right. Man arrested after stealing coronavirus specimen from hospital, police say. Did that happen in Canada, in California, or Florida?
Hang on, the specimen? What does that mean?
So it was a specimen that was waiting to be tested for coronavirus.
Okay. Fucking asshole. I mean, it always sounds like Florida. That's the obvious answer.
Yeah, but there's some crazy shit that does happen out here in California. Like that's because how the game was spawned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's over 40 million people here, so process of
I'm gonna go with California. I'm gonna assume that he was he was trying to do it. He was a mad scientist doing his own testing.
well, you're halfway there. I'm pretty sure the guy was mad, but yeah, it was indeed California. But
Isn't that what I said?
yeah,
So,
but I
right.
said, yeah, he just wasn't a scientist, but he was mad.
Oh, okay.
I get the story alluded that he may have had a history of mental illness that went untreated. Because what happened was the police found the specimen sitting in a random shopping cart. They used the help of the homeless community to track it, and thankfully it hadn't been opened. He just like abandoned it. But the question I have is why the fuck would the hospital allow anybody close enough to be able to take it who wasn't a staff of the hospital?
Man, they probably got so many of them, and you know, you could slither through different areas of a hospital undetected, I assume.
Yeah, I guess some of this shit should be locked up though. Like, as I know they got fridges and shit where with locks on them, but anyhow, so
all right, last one.
Foul.
What do you got?
All right, a man accused of beating cellmate who asked for a courtesy flush to help with smell. Did that happen in Canada, California,
Florida.
or
That was Florida.
Absolutely,
that was Florida.
Fucking Florida.
Yeah, it's funny because like you could be living, like you could be neighbors, and that would happen in Florida. You know, everybody's got their windows down. You got that Tallahassee heat. You got that Jacksonville heat. You want to go to the beach too, and they're like, "Fuck that, man! I can smell your dump from here. How about a courtesy flush?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna have to go and give you a little bit of a beating." That would happen anywhere in Florida, but it would happen in a prison, huh?
Yeah. Well, in fairness, man, it's like, where are you going to go? You can only get so far away from the shitter. You know, there's no door to close or anything.
Yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair. Man, my brother used to drop some huge dumps and leave the door open, and the whole house would stink. Like, it was so bad that, like, nobody wanted to light a match because it would blow up.
Yep. Oh, shit.
All right, so episode 17's in the can. Let's see if we upload this to YouTube. I'm starting to regret when we were at the Shit Shack declining to do video. We may as well have done it if this is what we'd end up doing. I was playing with this the whole time. This is what the computer's sitting there. I'm fucking drunk again, man. And I got red lips. Oh, I got a Buffalo Billet.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking going to internet jail.
Dude, fucking tuck the fruit bowl and get to it.
I'm not doing that. You do it, man. So much more effective when you do it.
No, man, you already called the shit. You're on it.
Yeah. Just sit here with my fucking red lips. Dude, I do not look good. I look like I've been in quarantine for the last 2 months. Fucking
that's
Christ.
what I've been trying to tell you for months on end. That was even before the coronavirus.
Yeah, well, I don't have some fucking. I mean, I could go in the garage like a weirdo, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit in a dark garage and do a webcam. I'm gonna turn the lights on, and for the first time in the whole coronavirus, and you know, wear my pajamas though. But I do have to take a piss, so we're ending this. Right. We are the Valley Boys. Thanks a lot for listening. If you made it all the way through, I'm very sorry about Brandon. And good night.
And night.